The dominant yet simple style of Gordon Ryans Jiu Jitsu is on display every time he competes. The way he dismantles his opponents with such control while making it look almost effortless is on a whole nother level. In his last couple of matches, I've noticed him applying one of these simple yet effective techniques that I hadn't really seen him or many other Brazilian Jiu Jitsu athletes do before. Well, that is, at least not from the top position. The half Nelson is a wrestling move used to force an opponent onto their back when they are turtled up. Here we see Olympian Jordan Burroughs demonstrating the technique. The move begins with the arm weaving through and cupping the back of the neck, then driving into the opponent with the elbow flared open. Where the half Nelson involves only one arm applying pressure to the neck, a variation to this move called the power Nelson involves both arms to the neck, making it much more forceful. In Jiu-Jitsu, you typically see the power Nelson being applied when someone is working for or from the back take position in an attempt to break down their opponent. It's a move that's actually been a part of Gordon's game since Gordon came into the spotlight. Taking a deeper look into why the power Nelson is so effective from back control, let's review this clip from a match between Max Jimenez and Gordon Ryan at the 2018 Nogi Pan Ams. Here we see Gordon with the seatbelt grip and one hook already in. Max knows Gordon wants that second hook, and so he uses his hand to attempt to block the foot, with his goal being to shuck Gordon off and turn into him. But Gordon reacts quickly by switching from the seatbelt grip to the power half Nelson, then using his foot to push off the mat to help drive his weight back. We can see the rotational force that the power half Nelson creates as Max's neck is forced diagonally downward while his chest opens up. Because of this, Gordon is able to turn onto his other side and get his hips behind Max's, now putting the second hook in and switching back to the seatbelt. Recently, in his matches against Jacob Couch and Pedro Mourinho, Gordon has been using the standard half Nelson to advance or maintain the top position, while passing or in mount, similar to how a wrestler would typically use it to get the pin. What's strange about this is that it's not a move commonly seen at the highest levels of BJJ. I mean, its lack of use, at least from the mount position, makes sense though. When someone is stuck under full mount and attempts to turn onto their side, a jiu-jitsu guy's common, natural, and even sensible option is to transition to the back take. But through Gordon's use of the half Nelson to impose his will to maintain mount, we saw how effective it is. And not only that, we also saw how devastating it can be when used to pass the guard. Let's analyze it. Starting off with his match against Jacob Couch, Jacob is practically begging Gordon to take his back, but it's obvious that's not what Gordon wants. Instead, as Jacob turns away, Gordon weaves his arm through and flares open his elbow as he drives his weight across Jacob to flatten him onto his back. And again, here we see the same thing, where Pedro Mourinho is basically praying to the gods that Gordon commits to the back take. But Gordon is relentless and instead continues to apply the half Nelson to maintain the mount. Now that we've gone over how Gordon uses the half Nelson in mount, let's look at how he passes the guard with it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but after scouring Gordon's matches, I found that Gordon never used to incorporate the half Nelson into his guard passing. Rather, he would usually seek to cross-face his opponent to advance his position. For example, here he is against Wagner Hosha, which was his third most recent match. We see that Wagner is in nearly the same position as Jacob Couch and Pedro Mourinho were. After clearing the knee shield, Gordon maintains the crossface and does not once look to switch for the half Nelson. And again, here's Gordon against Lachlan Giles at the 2019 ADCC Championships. Here, Gordon is clear of Lachlan's knee shield and is solely seeking the crossface, and is able to flatten him out. So obviously the crossface is extremely effective for Gordon, as he's used it to pass the best guards in the world. But the incorporation of the half Nelson has its benefits. The opportune time to apply it is when the opponent is fighting to stay on their side and not be flattened out, because we all know being flattened out in bottom half guard is not much fun. With the knee line cleared and their elbow open, now is the time to swim the arm under and through. Against Pedro, Gordon repeatedly switched between attacking the crossface and half Nelson. When Pedro would frame to block the crossface, Gordon would switch to attacking the half Nelson. And when Pedro would lower and close his elbow space, Gordon would switch back to the crossface, doing this over and over until Pedro became more and more fatigued, eventually working in the half Nelson to flatten Pedro out. then once flattened out, switching to head and arm control to continue advancing the pass. These next couple of months will be very exciting for the Jiu-Jitsu community, as we'll be seeing a lot of Gordon Ryan in action. Between his long-awaited rematch with Felipe Pena on the Who's Number 1 main event, to his stacked ADCC division in September, which by the way includes Felipe Pena, and lastly, his ADCC super fight against Andre Galvao. I'm really interested to see how and if Gordon continues to use the half Nelson from the top. I guess we'll find out soon enough. If you happen to find this video useful in any way, I'd really appreciate a like, share, comment, or even just tell a friend about it. Also check me out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter at DeepDiveJJ, where you'll find a lot more interesting content. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Peace out.